Okay.
Dale, this is John Finley of Finley Fire Equipment. Thank you for purchasing the Hummer from us. I'm going to go around the truck and try to show you everything, and then Bailey's going to upload this to YouTube so you can see it and hopefully help you work everything. We're also going to go over the truck here today and have our mechanics go over it, check it all out to make sure it's all okay before we have it shipped to you, so we know that the truck's right when it leaves here. You realize there's no warranty after it leaves. So out there is a Pierce dealer like us that would work on it for you. I'm sure there's other fire equipment dealers that could work on it too. But once it leaves here, it's out of our control. So we have to make sure everything's right here before it leaves. I'm going to go over the whole truck with you, and then if you have any questions, we'll have this and you'll have it, and you can always call back and forth. The front turret nozzle discharges water. It has a joystick controller in the cab to turn water on and off, to change the pattern from fog to straight stream. Fog means it fans out, straight stream means it goes straight. And then you can turn it right, left, and up and down, all from the joystick controller in the cab. So a person operating it can be driving the truck, or a person riding in the front seat can be operating it while somebody else drives the truck. It is a diesel powered pump, so you can pump and go down through fields or whatever with this, and it works fine. There is a relief valve at the bottom to blow water out, and it drains out there. And this is a rotation, so you can manually rotate it if you wanted to. And the electric plugs all plug in right here, so you can unhook it off the truck. This is a very expensive option, like brand new. They're $15,000 or $20,000 for all of the stuff with it. It's got an electric valve back at the pump, and that's what shuts the water on and off from the pump. When you're running this, you can't be running anything else. When you're running anything else, you can't be running this, because the pump is not a high gallon per minute pump. It's made for like one item. So that's how that works. Also, you've got a winch on the front. The winch controls are in the cab there. We can hook up to it. And there's a freewheel bar down in here that allows you to freewheel it to pull the cable out. Freewheeling, then you put it back in that regular mode to run it with the controller. We hook it up here just to keep it when you're not in use. And with any cable, be very careful if you're pulling something heavy. I always tell people throw a coat or a blanket or something over it, because if the cable should happen to break, then cables can get very dangerous if they don't have something over them to help that recoil. There's been documented people killed from them cables hitting them. This also on pins by pushing in a button and pulling the pin out, and then that allows this to fold out so you can tilt the hood. You've got two red lights up here, a siren speaker for your siren. That also is your PA system for your mic, so you can talk through this and broadcast out over the air. You've got two tow eyes up here on the top, and you've got two tow eyes down here. Here's the other lock for the other side, and it says hose must be removed to open hood. So they're telling you also have to pop these pins and unhook this hose before you can properly tilt the hood. Coming around to this passenger side here, you should check your air in your tires and keep them full at all times. Here's your hood releases. Here's a side red light on each side. When we did our checks of all the red lights, we found this is not working. We're going to fix that for you, and Bailey will do a video after it's all done so you can see it working. This is the air intake, so you got to keep that above the water line if you're fording water. This truck will ford water clear up into here, so that's something, but that's your air intake. You've got 4 doors that open out, and you got a window that goes up and down here, and door locks, electric door locks here. You got a little pouch for maps. Here's the nozzle we're sending along for you. Closed is that way, open is that way. Straight stream in a fog pattern by twisting the bail out here. This can unhook here, and you can put a foam stick on the end of that with a foam stick in there to make foam if you wanted to make foam for any reason. These are called spanner wrenches. That's what you hook the fire hoses with, and hook to a hydrant and unhook. This is a gas key shut off. This is a pry tool, and those are 2 spanner wrenches I said we'd include. Also, you have a hydrant wrench to turn a hydrant on or off with, and you twist it, and you should go to your local fire department and have them teach you how the hydrant works, because you can turn a stem off with one of these if you're not careful. This also has a spanner wrench to tighten hoses too, separate from the other wrenches if you need it. And then this twist to tighten around the bolt on the top of the hydrant. The blue button here the black button on a blue square thing is to run an intercom system. This truck has the intercom system wired up, but it doesn't have headsets. Should you ever want to buy headsets, we do sell them, but it didn't come with the truck, but it's all wired in case somebody had ever want them. So firefighters often wear headsets to talk on the radio and also to talk back and forth to each other. So the sirens and things like that, while they're en route to a fire, doesn't interfere with them talking. I'll show you the joystick controller here. It unplugs and plugs in like that, and it's a Sidewinder monitor control, and down, up, right, left, the water valve on and off is on a trigger here, and you got straight stream and fog pattern on the nozzle too. That's this switch on top. So that puts the nozzle down, that puts the nozzle up, that turns the nozzle right, that turns the nozzle left, and then water on, water off, straight stream, fog pattern. Then here's a water valve on and or the joystick controller here. So that's how that operates and works. We put all your hose back here. This is a special little compartment. There is no seat on this side. The fire department had a special tray and compartment underneath of it. So we stacked all your fire hose in here. This is your controls for your intercom system. And there's a fire extinguisher bracket up here. There's radio speakers back here. It has a nice radio system in it. And your windows up and down, your door opening and closing. Here's where the diesel fuel goes in. Diesel fuel only, no gas. It's listed here. Diesel fuel only, and it's the current type of diesel fuel today. Compartment open. And then here's some adjustable shelves for equipment storage. There's a bracket. They kept an air pack there. And then just other storage room and a light. And they just slam open, slam closed. And then here's a little door that you pop that button and open it up like that. And this is to lay hose across if you want to. And fire hose storage, things like that. On the back, we've got a red light, reverse light, stop, turn, tail signals, all that. We've got two lights that light up for nighttime operation. If you pull this handle out, you can raise that pole up, push it back in, and hold it up in the air. This is called an arrow stick. That would guide traffic right or left from a control box in the cab below the siren control box. The pump panel back here, we've got master intake gauge, master pressure gauge. We've got individual pressure gauges for 1.5" pre-connect, which is up, would be up here, I believe, and 1.5" rear discharge, which would be right here. You've got a 2.5" discharge, which opens here. These pull out and push in for open and close. This is your tank fill. So it turns to fill the water tank when you're hooked to a 2.5" hose coming in from a hydrant or another fire truck or a tanker or a portable pump going out of a pond. You can put the water into here and it goes into your pump, and then if you turn this, it goes into the tank. If you get your tank full, you can shut that off and then just use it for water into the pump and then pump back out. Whenever you have a hydrant hooked up, you can pump a lot more water than what you can just out of the water tank, of course. You also have 2.5" discharge, an 1.5" discharge. This is a foam level gauge. I don't think you ever use the foam system, but if you ever want to, that's a foam level gauge. Most people just use water, and this is a water level gauge. You see the lights come on as it's full, and it's showing you it's clear full now. As you use the water out of it, they drop down, down, down till below 1/4, and then it comes on and says refill, but you still got water left below 1/4 tank until it actually physically runs out. You've got a trailer hitch back here, so you can pull any kind of trailers you want to. And you've got another drop-down door here to let you into this hose storage area. This is how you start the pump, and this is your pump throttle. I'll attempt to start it here, but we don't have the truck running, so sometimes it takes more power to start it than when it's not running. But also, when there's water in the pump, you got to overcome that water to get it to start too. Okay, it's got to be running, so we'll have to start that up, and then we'll demonstrate that in a later minute here. Pump throttle runs your pump throttle up for more pressure, down for less pressure. And this is the tank to pump valve. This lets water from the tank into the pump, and you have to hold the open button until the green light lights up. and it takes 20-30 seconds to get all the way open. If you want to close it, you got to close it all the way. You'd close this if you're running water into here sometimes, maybe for hydrant water or another tank or something like that, and you open it for water from the tank to go into the pump if you're not using any outside water source. This is a discharge here. It says Instaff Pre-Connect here. That controls this line, so you can hook your Instaff hose up to that. You can actually keep it up here in this tray if you want. We call that a pre-connect, so it's pre-hooked up here, laid in here, and your nozzle's on it. Your nozzle can be hooked into there or something anywhere, laying up in there, and that's how that works. Another light that telescopes up, turns on and off with a switch. I don't know where I got it turned on the cab or not. We'll try it here. There you go. So that works. Try this one here. And that one works. And the switch is right here on the side. This unlocks, and you can go up and lock it in place or back down. It'll go up higher than that. I'm just too short. All right. Place for your license plate here. Another small compartment door here to let you into that hose tray in the bottom. Then this is another compartment here that lifts up with more special bracketry. There's your controller for your winch up front. And it sends it out and back in, and it plugs into the side up there. Here's a 12-volt charging receptacle, like if you wanted to put a cigarette lighter plug in there to charge something, that's what that's for. They probably had a radio or something sitting up here that charged off 12 volt. Here's a battery charging system. If you plug this in to a plug-in, takes a 20 amp plug, and you plug that in and plug it into your wall at home, this will show you it's charging your batteries all the time and keeps your batteries conditioned. You don't have to worry about it overcharging. It should shut itself off when it's working properly. Here's a reflector and an LED running clearance light. Here's a red light. Here's a step to assist you in climbing up to the top. Back door opens. You do have a seat here. The battery conditioner that's on that plug-in is underneath the seat. And these are chargers for hand lights. We do sell hand lights that go into these if you ever wanted a battery-operated hand light. But they don't come with the truck, just the chargers. You can grab here, step up here. And then you've got mounts here to mount poles or bars or things like that that you might use. And up on the front here, we have a special hose bed. The lower lifts up, and you got storage in here for fire hose or anything else you might want to store in there. When we're done here, I'll ask Bailey to step up here and he can show you the top of the pump, the top area here, and also the water tank fill. And that's the main things up here that you'll want to see probably. The pump is a separate diesel engine, so every once in a while you might want to have somebody service that, a mechanic or something, change the oil. I think there's a little filter on it, air filter, fuel filter, things like that. Keep it up in good running condition. There's also a foam tank on the top. Again, you'll probably never use the foam, but if you ever wanted to, there's a foam tank on the top to have foam. And we do sell foam, we can ship it to you. There you can see all that stuff we're talking about. That's your pump and all your different fittings and things like that. So it all seems to work pretty well. And again, we'll try that and have a video for you on that as well. Around on this side here, getting in the cab. The keys to start it, when you turn the switch on, you'll have a wait to start light that comes on. It's already went out because it's pretty warm today. Once that light goes out, you can start it. There you hear it running. I'm going to shut it off so you can hear us. And you got headlights, panel lights, cargo lights, wipers, windshield washers and delay wipers, all your typical gauges, AM, FM, cassette radio, controls for your heater and your air conditioner, your fuel switch for switching fuel tanks, your high, neutral, and low for your high lock for your four-wheel drive system. Push the button and hold the brake to put it in gear to drive it. And these are your window controls for your windows up and down for all four. And then there's a single one on the door with a single door lock. Here's your book, or the Hummer book there. I can't get it open. But that's your Hummer books here from AM General. It says Hummer right on it. That's worth something in itself. And all the original Hummer books, owner's manuals, things like that. Here's a hood release for the hood lock. You have to pull that to unlock it. Then, like I say, swing the bumper down, unhook the front turret, and then release the hood and roll her up. Inside the cab here, you've got other controls. This is your electric pump throttle here to run the pump. This is a starter in here for starting the pump in case you don't want to do it back there and you want to do it up here. There's a primer here to prime the pump, but you have to have the water valves turned on in the back. And then this lets water into your tank, this electric valve that I showed you in the back too, so that can open the tank valve to let water into the pump from the tank. All your individual red light controls, this is a master switch, and then each individual control turns red lights on and off. That's how they work. And they all light up here, as you can see. The siren box up here, and you gotta have the key on probably. And that's how that works. And then if you have this in standby, you got a mic. Test 1 2, test 1 2. It runs that. I hope this helps you, and I hope it helps maybe get you to see how things work on here. And if we can be of any assistance, don't hesitate to call us. Thanks a lot. Take care.